G'day guys, welcome back to the Devon Too Good Investing channel. In this video today, we're going to be talking about why the great value investor Mohnish Pabrai sold out of Seritage Growth Properties. So about a month or so ago, there was an interview that Mohnish was involved in, and the interviewer asked him a question about Seritage Growth Properties, and during that question, he revealed that he actually sold Seritage Growth Properties. And about 2 weeks ago, this bit of news was confirmed via his 13F filing, where we can see that he sold 98.38% of his SRG positions. So this filing is current as of the 31st of March because it's for the first quarter, and it now makes up a tiny percentage of his portfolio, which is pretty clear that he probably sold the rest not soon after the 31st of March. So I'm about to show you guys a quick clip of the interview explaining why Mohnish sold Seritage Growth Properties. And before I play this little interview for you guys, quick shout out to the Value Investing channel for the clip.
So actually, we don't own Seritage anymore, which makes it easy for me to talk about it. Basically, we bought Seritage right when the pandemic was hitting in the second quarter of 2020. And the stock had collapsed. It was $30 a share before the pandemic, and it was kind of hovering between $6 and $9 a share after the pandemic hit, because there was a lot of concern about, retail and footprints and all of that with all the lockdowns. And I analyzed it, and it looked really cheap and looked like there was very significant upside, because they were redeveloping all the old Sears space and such. Last year, I concluded that I had made a mistake in one part of the Seritage thesis. And the one part of the thesis was that they are redeveloping all of these properties. And it's really kind of like a company which runs in 100 different countries, because each municipality and each city and location has its own nuances about how they look at the approvals and rezonings and different things that the company needs. And I realized that I had underestimated how difficult moving that aircraft carrier with all those different geographies and battles. And so we had bought it so cheap that we still were with very significant gain when we were selling. And because I saw that this was a flaw in the analysis. And one thing one should always keep in mind, which I already talked about, is John Templeton used to say the best analysts will be right 2 out of 3 times. And probably more realistically in investing, we'll probably be right about half the time. So one of the things that's really important in investing is to be honest with yourself. And when I realized that the redevelopment challenges are much more significant than I had estimated, I took my chips off the table. And so it was a mistake, but it was a mistake where we ended up with a positive result. But I think the big mistake was that in the second quarter of 2020, there were lots and lots of companies available cheap. And we ended up, depending on when we were selling, somewhere between 20 to 40% return on our money. And I think we could have gotten a lot more with a different bet. So that's the unfortunate part. The opportunity cost was high.
So as revealed in the interview, to summarize, each region has its own approval/rezoning process with different rules and requirements. And because of this, he says that he underestimated the difficulty of receiving development approvals for all the separate properties. And of course, Seritage Growth Properties have about 170 different properties, and they're all spread across different regions of the US. So for each property in each different region, they go through a different approval process. And of these approval processes in different regions, they have different rules and they have different requirements. As a result, it takes a lot of manpower and it takes a lot of understanding of these different processes in order to get the approval to develop each property. And I'm someone who's worked in the engineering industry, and I've been through what it's like to go through a rezoning and get approval for a development. And I can tell you it does take a lot of man hours, and it takes a lot of back and forth with the local regulators in order to get this approval. And what I believe though is, I think, yeah, it's hard. Yeah, it's difficult. Yeah, it takes a bit of time. But I don't think the rules and requirements are usually all that different between regions. Usually they all need, site layouts. They all need certain management plans. So they all need similar documents and similar plans for each of the properties. So while it is different for each region, they do have their own nuances. The core of what you need to deliver to get these approvals is usually quite similar. So for that reason, I'm going to be holding my Seritage Growth Properties position. It's only a small position for me. However, I do respect Mohnish's opinion here, as he is correct. Like, it is quite difficult, but I think it is achievable, considering that I think a lot of these different regions should have similar processes, although they are still different. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video today, and if you enjoyed it, make sure you like it and subscribe to my channel, and I'll catch you in the next one.